a happy Thursday, technically Friday Eve, and the day before July 1st. Hey! So, hey guys, if you don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today we're going to be diving into the July 2022 monthly reading for all air signs. So, hello, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. So this is for sun, moon, and rising, or perhaps you're just trying to get to understand your Gemini, Libra, Aquarius friends a little bit more and understand their month. Okay, so got a lot of good stuff all cooked up for you guys. I am going to start off by casting an elemental circle with the use of the elements, and I do believe, since it is an energetic circle, that it transcends space and time. So no matter when you tap into this broadcast, whenever it is that you tune in, you are within that. Kayla is an aqua moon. Hey! Oh, wow. Kayla, oh my gosh. Welcome to the tribe, dude. So cool. All right. So by the way, I did want to mention that if people wanted to know a little bit more about me and my readings and all of that, my website is down below, kittensweightsandtarot.com. I also have my Patreon group, which actually Kayla is one of my patrons, and my YouTube memberships, all of that good stuff. Desert Cauldron, where I make lots of fabulous one-of-a-kind items, witchy items. But yeah, definitely check it out. Tomorrow, the 1st, is when I put out my newsletter, my Kittens, Weights, and Tarot newsletter. So that is the only time I email anybody, in terms of that stuff. So I don't play the spam game. But I just finished up the newsletter today, so I'm going to post it tomorrow morning. But it has all kinds of stuff from, certain spells, or sometimes I have recipes that I share, channels that I'm watching, herbs that I'm working with, crystals that I'm working with, books that I'm reading, things like that. If that interests you, again, go on the link down below towards my website, and that'll take you to the newsletter. Go ahead and sign up. We are over 300 strong, so hey! Okay. Let's see. Kayla said, thanks. It's good to be here. Like the stickers. Oh my gosh. I'm glad you love the rose salve. I was going to ask you, I'm like, did it show up yet? Is it there yet? So I'm glad you are digging it. Actually, because I use my own rose salve every single day. And, it's good here in the desert because it gets pretty dry. So it's like, a little light coating to put on my face. I definitely put a lot underneath my eyes, just keep things moisturized. But I'm running out of my little pot of rose salve, so I'm gonna have to make more just for me. So okay, so let's go ahead and call in the elements. I am first going to call in the element of fire, just to help burn away anything that could be impeding our intuition and our messages during this chat. So we want to make sure that everything is for our best and highest good, and things are nice and clear. All right, and then from there, calling in the air element, the element of air, to whoosh, blow on through anything and everything that is vibing low, and again, blocking us from our intuition. So just getting this nice stick of Palo Santo all lit up for you guys. It smells amazeballs, by the way. It takes me forever to go through a Palo Santo stick. I have this stick, and I have one that my friend actually brought back from the Amazons. He was down there doing some shaman work, and I haven't been able to burn through them, yet. So they do last forever. Oh my gosh, it smells so nice. All right, clear that stuff up, man. All right, and then bringing in the water element to cleanse our space, and again pushing that out to where you guys are as well. This is energetic, so I'm asking for, my intention is that the energy of each of these elements aid each and every one of us, no matter where we reside in the world. All right, and that water does feel really nice because it's been a little warm around here. Surian air signs, what's up? Okay, and then for the earth element, I'm going to use it hasn't been fashioned into a wand, but I use it as a wand, and this is a beautiful piece of Colombian amber that we have in Desert Cauldron. To me, it kind of looks like a Star Trek phaser. So I'm going to use this awesome amber wand to call in the elementals for each of the directions. All right, so I think I have grape. I was eating grapes earlier, so hold on just a second. Hey, all better now. Okay, Sarian says, looks like a bird or dove. Yeah, it kind of does, huh? Butterfly said, pretty. Oh, hey, Butterfly, how are you? So yeah, you guys love the lovely amber. All right, so calling in the elementals of the north first. Calling in the elementals of the north to help us to cast our circle today. Calling in the elementals of the east to help us to cast our circle today. Calling in the elementals of the south to help us to cast our circle today. Calling in the elementals of the west to help us to cast our circle today. All right, the circle is cast. Let our work begin. And so it is. All right. So glad to be here with all my homies. Okay, so let me put this off to the side. All right, the decks that I'm going to be working with today, I make sure that for each of the elemental signs, I choose decks that I think are going to best correlate with those elements. So for the element of air, and with every reading, I always bust out my Wally's World Oracle. And if you're interested, the link for this is down below. I am also going to be using the 78 Tarot Elemental. Ooh. And the Amenti Oracle. To me, this has lots of air vibes to it. I'm also going to use the Naked Heart Tarot, which I haven't busted out in a while, but to me, this also has somewhat of an air feel to it, although I do believe it encompasses all of the elements. I don't know why, I just feel really drawn to it as a Gemini. And then last but not least, the Raven Oracle cards. These are massive cards, by the way. Okay. So first, to start off, like I said, I got a lot of good stuff cooked up for us. We're going to start off with the elemental reading, and then we're going to dive into each of the zodiac signs individually. So we're going to get kind of an overview, first theme-wise for the month of July, then kind of going into the, bless you, the element for July, and then after that getting into Gemini specifically, Libra specifically, and Aquarius specifically. And then of course we'll go into opportunities and blocks and all that good stuff. Okay, so Wally is who helps me for looking into the overall theme. And Surian says bless you too. Okay, so let's go ahead and shuffle it up and see what Wally says about our theme. As I am a Gemini Sun, Libra Moon. And I do have Aquarius in my chart as well. Aquarius is in my south node. All right. Actually, most of my chart is pretty airy. I might also be considered an airhead. All right, actually, as I think of airhead candies. Airhead candies are delicious. I'm just saying. All right, looks like we have our card. Oh, already. I didn't mean to turn it over already, but I guess I did. Sirian's like, yeah, now I'm going to be like, next time I go to the grocery store, maybe I just throw in a couple of airheads. Okay. And Sirian's like, airhead candies. All right, so the overall theme, so we have this beautiful image here, and this was an image that was taken by our friend in the community, Cosmic Creeper. And so this is out near the Royal Botanical Gardens in the UK. But let me dive into this. And by the way, if you're looking for Wally Walito, there he is. I photoshopped him in the bushes back there. He's just kind of spying whoever's going to be walking out on this little plank out into the lake. Okay, so let me dive into this air signs, our overall monthly theme. Okay, what's coming through is stillness. So as I was being shown that I'm kind of actually walking out on that little ledge, looking out on this beautiful, actually it's a pond, actually this beautiful pond with ducks, and I can hear all kinds of birds. Hello, air energy. And I'm surrounded by this lush green foliage, that it's a very serene and peaceful place. Not an automobile to be heard, no planes flying overhead, just the sound of nature itself. And so this theme is going to, the theme for the month of July is going to be all about coming back to center. And it feels as though for a lot of our air signs, there's going to be an excess of activity going on in July. It looks like whatever was going on this month in June is going to pick up the pace in July. So it's going to be that much more important that we can come back to a place where we feel peace, we feel grounded, and we feel connected. Because with all of this energy that's going to be kind of running through just the everyday 3D stuff, just kind of ramping up, but also energetically, I do feel we're kind of moving towards a portal, so to speak. And so we're going to feel it. And it's going to feel almost like the winds like kicking up, and it makes me think of the Mayan sign which is Ich, which is a year lord, and that is representative of the hurricane. Sometimes it's a gentle breeze, but often other times it can be this, gale force winds blowing us left and right. And as air signs, we can very much get caught up in that. And so grounding, grounding, grounding is what I'm hearing over and over again. That if you start to feel overwhelmed, if you start to feel anxious, if you start to feel like the jitters, but I still feel okay, I'm just feeling really jittery, that is the signal to ground. Ground where you are, not to wait till you get home, but just taking a moment. Some people count to 10, some people count to 20, some people count to 100, but just breathing in and out. Nothing is more important, just where you are right now, breathing in and breathing out. That's why I love to do the healings that I do at the end of my live chats, because it's that moment that we have, those few minutes that we have just to be at peace with ourselves where we are in this moment, and focusing solely on the breath, solely on our intentions. Who cares what's going on in the outside world for those 5 minutes? The world is always going to have something there for us when we come back to it. But those few minutes are ours, and they're very precious. They're precious for our physical health, our spiritual health, our emotional health, and our mental health. So that's just the overall theme that I'm getting thus far. All right, and so I'll definitely come back to this card kind of throughout the reading, so I'm just gonna put it right there so I can see it. All right, so let me go back here. Sarian said, love the green from that card. Angela, hello, Angela. And Sarian says, I need to be more grounded. Well, me too. Okay, and actually one of the most grounding things I do to get super grounded is during my live chats, because I have to do my own meditation with you guys. I ground when I cast my circle. Actually, that's one of the other reasons I cast a circle at the beginning of my live chats, is because when I come into the chat, I'm like, which I normally am, but it's to the point where it's actually really hard for me to tap into my intuition. So I have to ground by casting a circle and connecting to all the elements. And then I'm like, okay, now we're ready to do a reading. And so it could be something as simple as that. It only takes a few minutes. Some people think grounding is like some sort of 20-minute venture, which, I mean, you could make it into that, but it's just a few minutes to just breathe. Where are we right now? I'm here, I'm sitting on the floor, and I'm doing a live chat. It's something like that. Okay, so I'm grabbing the 78 Tarot Elemental, which, by the way, how do you guys like that foil? So the 78 Tarot Elemental is a deck full of 78 different pieces of art, which I think is amazing, from 78 different artists. Okay, so let me give this a good shuffle. And let's dive into the elemental reading first. So just overall for our Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Okay, and I just love how it shuffles, especially if I was out in the sun, this would be blinding, which is awesome. Asturian said, so true. Thanks for the reminder. Very welcome. All right. What do we have cooked up for July? What do we have cooked up for July air signs? July air signs. All right, there's card number 1, July air signs, July air signs. Card number 2, card number 3, and let's go with card number 4. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, so let me space these cards out. And let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so the very first card is the Ace of Air. Hello, air. Hello, air signs. So that again would be our Ace of Swords. Okay, and then we have the 10 of Air, more air sign, which is our 10 of Swords, which, by the way, you know, since it is a live chat, definitely if you're getting something from these cards, put it in the comments so that we can expand upon the reading. All right, and then we have the Ace of Water. And hey, if you guys want to bust out your decks too, feel free to do so. All right, which is our Ace of Cups there. And then we have the 4 of Water, which is the 4 of Cups. And you know what? I'm just going to pause for a second. Something is just popped into my brain as I was looking at these cards here. Yesterday's reading, oh, Surian loves the Ace of Cups. I know, isn't that so pretty? I was thinking of the reading yesterday. So I was reading for the earth signs yesterday, and I was saying that I was getting kind of a watery element from the earth signs, you know, and it was, for them, it was all about purification for July and, you know, amongst other messages that were coming through. But I believe they had gotten the 3 of Cups and the 4 of Cups, and I see the 4 of Cups coming up again. And then I believe they, what else was there? It was the Chariot, and I think it was also the 10 of Swords, or maybe it was the 10, but it's just that these cards look very familiar to one of the elemental readings I did, and I used a different deck. So I always try to make note when I'm seeing synchronicities happen. So it seems like it's a pretty good connection to our earth signs as well. So any of you guys that are an air sign but maybe also have earth floating around in your chart, I don't know, that just kind of stood out to me. Okay, the other things that are standing out to me is that there's 2 air signs here. Before I even just dive into the cards, I'm just pointing out just the stuff that's glaring at me. And then we have 2 water signs here. So 2 elements of water, 2 elements of air. And then, by the way, we have 2 aces. So just kind of keeping that stuff in mind. Okay. Before I even dive into the cards, I just like to get the overall message just from the elements themselves and the type of cards that they are. You know, the fact that we do have 2 aces, 2 air signs, 2 water signs. And right away I was thinking of chemistry, and I was thinking of what is the thing you call water when it turns into air? It's vapor, right? And when we think of the pentacle, which is what my candle is placed in, we think of the 5 elements, because we always add ether or vapor to the mix, spirit. So it feels as though this particular month for our air signs is going to deal a lot with connecting with our ancestors, connecting to spirit. So those of you that have mediumship abilities, perhaps you have ability where you can sense spirit and work with those things, it's going to be increased. And perhaps some of you that maybe that's an area you haven't progressed in as much yet. Maybe you haven't worked on it as much, but it's there. You might have noticed that there are odd occurrences maybe happening in the home as of late, and it feels like that's going to be picking up in July as well. Maybe things kind of maybe moving on their own, odd noises throughout the home that there's no earthly explanation, because there is a lot happening in the 4 and 5D realm. So I was just kind of picking up on that there's also going to be an element of working with spirit in the month of July. So perhaps a really good time to visit your deceased relatives, maybe going out to grave sites. Perhaps some of them have birthdays or anniversaries coming up and you want to maybe clean off their graves. I know there's a lot of cultures that, families will go out, clean up the graves, maybe leave a little offering, or maybe have a picnic out there just to kind of include that loved one. Other people will leave a place setting at the table to kind of invite those ancestors or those who have crossed over, invite them to the table. Other people do it with their fur babies who have crossed over. They'll leave out like maybe a little treat for them. So just something to keep in mind before I even dive into these is perhaps working with the ancestors, working with relatives, working with those who have crossed over, either humans that have crossed over or those that have crossed over on the Rainbow Bridge. Okay, so let me go ahead and now let's dive into the cards. Okay. Okay, so what's coming through is division, almost like how I pulled the cards. The first 2 cards I pulled were air, the second 2 cards I pulled were water. And it feels as though many of us air signs have been looking at everything in a compartmentalized way, where when we start working with our ideas, I'm talking about the sword suit, our creativity, the things that we want to accomplish, we look at it as strictly a mental thing, that I need to put all of my mental effort into this. Yet there are other things that we do, when we are showing or hanging out with our friends, our loved ones, significant others, that we look at that as a very emotional thing only, something that's only connected to the heart. Everything I do with them is emotion based. Everything that I do with my projects and my personal life is all mental based. But we know that we have to incorporate all of our elements, just like the 5-star pentacle. You have, air, earth, sky, water, but also ether, that it's also an element of spirit as well. So working with your spirit guides, working with your ancestors, but also connecting to your higher self, that things don't need to be so separated, that if you are working on some sort of creative project, that it need not be just a mental endeavor. Also drop into the heart space. Allow your emotions to also guide you along with your logic and everything else. Try to incorporate those elements, your passions, your groundedness. We did talk about that. But also when you are dealing with family, when you're dealing with friends, maybe in a positive light, or maybe, perhaps some difficult times that you're going through, it need not be just an emotional thing. This is where we also have to bring in our logic. This is also where we bring in our passions. We also bring in an element of groundedness, and also knowing that with both of these things, we have to learn to purify ourselves. So this is all about bringing what we usually keep separated back together again, making us one complete human being. Sometimes it's like, I don't know, seeing us kind of like quartered in a diagram, where mental stuff, when we do mental stuff, this is what we do. And that's all that we do just with the mental stuff. Oh, but when we're doing heart-based stuff, it's only and when we're doing grounding stuff, and so on and so forth. When it's not really like that, the 3D world, 4, 5D, we know that the dimensions basically blur the lines and are on top of each other. But so is the same with how we work with the elements within our own bodies, that they're not completely separated. We have to learn to work with them synergistically, so that we can create some beautiful things, so that we can communicate and relate to our loved ones as best we can. so that we can ground ourselves. But it's a mixture of everything. It's not just calling upon the earth. It's not just calling upon water signs or fire or air signs. That it's a mixture of all. And so especially, when the mental aspect and the emotional aspect that is coming through in these cards, and when we put them together, we get ether or vapor. It's that reminder to connect to our higher selves. And the fact that we got 2 aces in this reading as well is building that new relationship, a new relationship with the mind. We think of it as this like thing that is just separated from the rest of our body, when in actuality, the whole being functions as one unit. So building a better relationship with the mental and seeing how it can relate to, your earthly self, your fiery self, your watery self. But same thing with the Cups card, the Ace of Cups, building a better relationship with our emotions and being able to incorporate our logic, our passions, and our groundedness into it as well. Okay. All right. And then hearkening back to our theme card that we had at the very beginning, which is just a reminder that, since there is going to be a lot going on this month, don't forget to ground while working on incorporating all the other pieces that we are. Okay, let's see. Angela said the deck is so beautiful. Yeah, I love this deck. And I love decks that, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I love decks when there's like multiple artists, for the deck. And I think it just comes together so swimmingly, so beautiful. Okay, so knowing that, so we got our theme for the month of July. We have our elemental reading. Let's go into the individual zodiac readings. Are you guys ready? So for that, I'm going to bust out the Amenti Oracle. Let's go ahead and get these cards out of here. Amenti. Boom, boom, boom. I don't think I've used that deck in a while. Okay, so here are the backs. Such a cool deck. It's minimalistic, but pretty cool. And Kayla's ready. All right. Okay, so let's go with Gemini first. Okay, where are my Geminis at? So Gemini Sun here. Do I have any other Gemini Suns? Possibly Gemini Moons? Maybe Gemini Rising? Let me know if there's any Geminis in the house. And actually, I will have a sip of water as it is quite warm. Stay hydrated, you guys. Okay, so I'll pull a card for Gemini first, and then I think we'll go to Libra afterwards. Okay. Okie dokie. Gemini, what do you have going on for July? And I'm super curious too. What's going on in July? All right, Gemini, you have, I communicate with compassion. Okay, I'm already getting the message, but we'll go ahead and drop into it, which, by the way, I love the heart space just radiating there. Okay. I communicate with compassion, Gemini. Okay, so the message that is coming through is actually a reiteration of something James and I were talking about earlier today. So one thing, possibly maybe not just myself, but other Geminis may be known for is our brains are constantly analyzing, assuming, trying to figure out what's happening next, what is that person thinking, and how do I act accordingly depending on how I think that person is thinking and how I think the situation is going. So it's all up here, nothing but heady energy, just thinking, analyzing, coordinating. And oftentimes when we place all of our energy up here and we compartmentalize it, like I was talking about earlier in the elemental reading, where we separate it from our groundedness, our heart space and passion, so on and so forth, that we end up miscommunicating with people. It's very easy to do so. You know, we might look at somebody and I'm assuming that they're thinking this, and when they made that gesture, I'm assuming they were signaling to me that I need to do this. And then when you act on that and the person looks confused, and then you're confused as to why they're confused, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "Oh, well, I thought you were doing." And they're like, "No, no, why didn't you just talk to me? Why didn't you just ask me?" It's a very Gemini thing to not ask and just thinking all the time. And so this is a reminder, just like we saw with the two swords cards and the two cup cards, is to, you know, take what we're thinking up here, drop it to our heart space. And when you drop into your heart space, that is actually a space where we can communicate more effectively with others. So up here, yes, we have our eloquence, yes, we have our analytical skills, but in here, we can actually communicate with somebody much better while incorporating your analytical skills, while incorporating your eloquence. So you'll find that throughout the month of July, you'll have an easier go of it if you stop the analyzing. I think that when they sit like that, this is what is going on, and I think they're thinking this, and then I think that their next move is going to be this. So based on basically my own analytics, I think that I should act in this way. Instead, it's more, okay, first, like our theme card said, ground. Okay, grounded, drop into the heart space. Is it fair to the other person that I guesstimate what they're thinking and then basing my next move on that? Or would it be more fair to that person if I simply asked? I simply reached out with my heart, connected to their heart. Let's have communication. Hey, I was thinking that you might be thinking this. Is that true? And they're like, no, you know, this is actually, you know, and then you have this good conversation. You have better connection this way. You know, when we stay all caught up here, we actually cut ourselves off from having that great conversation, that good connection with others. And that's all a part of us being here on this planet, is reconnecting with our fellow human. So although each sign has its element and has its pros, there are also downfalls into staying within that element too much. Okay, so yep, Geminis. That's the message. Okay, so then let's go into, oops, Libra, my foot was falling asleep. Okay, and I love that Kayla is using the emojis. Like, I had fun creating this. Okay, so let's go into Libra, what's happening with you? All right, so before I pull a card, any Libras in the house? I'm a Libra moon, by the way. Okay, Libra. Makes me think of that Perfect Circle song. Anybody listen to A Perfect Circle? It's called Three Libras. Okay, all right, so it looks like we have our Libra card, and that is, I give offerings that are genuine. Oh my gosh. Okay, message already coming through. And it's probably a lot easier for me to read for the air signs because I personally have so much air in my chart. So it's just, you know, I just connect more easily. Okay, so the message was already coming through here with Libras. And the first thing I think of with Libras, not only, you know, their knack for seeing the beauty and everything, but also wanting everything to look balanced. You know, balanced in art, balanced in the way that the home is set up and the interior design, but also balanced between one another. You know, how we communicate with other people. You know, we would like to have balanced relationships. And so it's very uncomfortable when Libras are, let's say, in a conversation or in a situation with other people where there is some sort of anger going on. You know, Libra would like to avoid, at least for the most part, I'm just talking in generalizations, a Libra for the most part would like to avoid that confrontation and instead try to balance it another way. You know, they're not really fighters. They're not like, I'm not going to get into this verbal argument with somebody. You know, I would rather try to figure out my own way to balance the situation so that we can live in harmony again. And so this is just a call out to some of the Libras out there who may offer something up just to appease the person in which they are having discord with. Like, hey, why don't I just take you out to dinner? Or, hey, here's $20. You know, just basically get off my back. And when we do those things, when we give in that way, it's actually disingenuous because we're doing it for selfish purposes. You're not giving the $20 for the person because you genuinely think that, oh, this $20 is really going to help them, or you're not taking that person out to dinner because you genuinely feel good and like, yeah, let's go out to dinner. That would be fabulous. It's more to try to turn their mood around so that you don't feel the uncomfortability of the argument or, you know, whatever discourse is going on. And so this is just to remind you guys that if, and myself included, like I said, I have a Libra moon, that next time you feel the need to do something like that, to offer something up to another party or a situation, just so whatever uncomfortability is going on ceases, so that I feel better, like so that we feel better. Maybe we pause and rethink our offering. Because remember, every time we give something, whether it's something tangible, whether it's our emotions, whatever it be, it is a piece of our energy. And so is that a way that you want to continue to give of your energy? Is just because something maybe is uncomfortable, does that mean that you need to give a piece of yourself in order to stop that communication? No, we want to have open communication, right? And yes, things may be uncomfortable, things may be difficult, but as I've said in other readings, it's through that uncomfortability that we grow. That's how we get to the next levels. That's how we find our grit and who we are. That's how we find our personal power, actually. And we shut down that personal power source, that solar plexus energy, when we just you know, all willy-nilly just give something just to silence the other side. So it seems like that's something that will actually be coming up a few times for our Librans out there in July of 2022. All right. Woo. Roberto, hello. He says hello, all many blessings. Same to you, my friend. Okay. So interesting. Woo! Air signs getting called out. All right. Let's go to Aquarius. So like I said, I have Aquarius actually in my south node, but I'm curious to see where the Aquarius is within this chat. So if there are any suns, moons, risings, definitely let me know. Okay, so pulling a card for Aquarius. Okay. What do we have? I can be trusted. Surian's like, Aquarius. Okay, Kayla said, Aqua Moon here. Woo woo. So awesome. I'm so glad to have you guys here today. Okay, so again, this is I can be trusted. Aquarius. Oh goodness. Okay, let's tap into this. What's going on with this message? Okay, so right away the message that I'm getting is just other folks, just passerbys on the street, friends, family, just people in general, being, how do I want to say, they misinterpret you. They don't totally see you for who you are, meaning they guesstimate, just like I was talking about Gemini at the very beginning, like, don't assume, let's have a heartfelt conversation. But sometimes as human beings, we tend to assume things about others. And actually, the very notion of an Aquarius, if you just ask a rando on the street, Aquarius, which has aqua in the name, what element do you think that Aquarius is connected with? And many would probably say water. In fact, its very symbol is, two little squiggly lines that look like water, when in fact it is an air sign. And whoa, okay, very interesting. Also, remember in our reading that we did for the elements, we had 2 air signs, 2 water signs. So this is about being dualistic. And so it's going to be even more important for Aquarius this month to speak things that are on your mind. I think that there are many people that take you the wrong way. They assume things about you that are not entirely true. They're guessing that you are a particular way. You probably think this way. You probably act this way, when, they couldn't be farther from the truth. It's actually quite the opposite. But the only way to have people get a better understanding for us is to communicate with them, is to open your heart, let people see you for who you really are, shine. I'm not saying that you need to go out on the street corner and tell your life story to everybody that's going by. But when it comes to people that you actually care about, let's say, your closest friends and your family members and things like that, that if you keep mum about things that are important to you, the people around you are going to assume certain things. And when they do that, this is where we get into conflicts, and it's like, how dare you think that about me? It's like, well, but you never really said anything about that particular topic, so I was left to assume something about you. So this is really all about opening up. And I know that the message here says I can be trusted, but it's more to trust that when you open up to others, they can have better discernment of what's going on with you, how you operate, how you think. And so this is just about being more expressive. If you can, just try your best. Like I said, you don't need to be a canary on the corner just singing about everything about you, every little thing, every secret, but just making sure that whenever possible that you're communicating your thoughts, your feelings, your motives, your actions with others, just so that the channels of communication are as clear as possible. Otherwise, people are left to assume many things about you. And just because your very nature is somewhat dualistic, much like a Gemini, but a little bit differently in terms of elemental dualism, the people just get the wrong idea. And it's nothing malicious, it's just human nature, and they just guess things incorrectly about you. So it would just be easiest on you and others to try and open up as best you can. So consider that your challenge for July. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yay, everybody chatting back and forth. Roberto asked if Gemini is done. Yeah, that was actually the very first one we did. So if you want to go back and do a quick little replay on that one. I think mostly Gemini and Libra were getting quite called out. Surian said, I can be trusted. Surian says, going to look at that card as a high five. Excellent. Kayla loves the message. Surian said, challenge accepted. And Kayla said, beautiful message. Yeah, these cards, man. I love the Amenti Oracle because they quite often have some pretty awesome sauce messages. Okay, so we're going to dive into opportunities and blocks. Okay, my little air babies, let's go. Let's bust out this Naked Heart Tarot, which I haven't busted out in a minute. And it's quite unfair to this deck because this deck kicks gluteus maximus, let me tell you. Okay, so here is the backs. And actually, I have the mass-produced version. This deck was an indie deck before, And I love the indie version as well, but I'm happy with this one too. Would have preferred the indie version, but I snoozed and I loosed. Okay, so let me just get these all shuffled up, and let's look into opportunities and blocks. Yay! Okay, opportunity and a block for our air signs. Okay, let's put those there. All right, so let's look at a particular possible block, because it's good to know what may stand in our way so that we know how to transmute it, how to go around it, how to overcome it. Let's see what we have. Oh, the Three of Cups. Oh, okay. Wow. I tell you, whenever I do air sign readings, because I have so much air in my chart, it's like the messages are like, here you go, here you go. Okay. The message that's coming through with this happy little Three of Cups card with our happy little porpoises is the actual, almost the inverse of this card, where we may decide that whatever it is that we're doing in July is our business and nobody else's business. It's the actual ego stepping forward and saying, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to do it myself so I can prove to me that I can do it myself. And if I fail, I'm going to go ahead and berate myself, and I'm going to say all kinds of nasty things because for some reason, out of some sort of made up rules that I've made for myself, I have to be the only one to be able to do this, and I must struggle and I must suffer and I must get it done myself. And that might be something that you want to work on in July if you feel that coming up, that where you're working on something. It doesn't even have to be a big thing. It could be something innocuous, but if somebody comes along and says, hey, can I help you with that? And your knee-jerk reaction is like, no, I'm going to do it myself. You don't have to maybe go into a meditation at that moment. Might not be the right time, but later on you might want, as you're recounting your day, doing your journaling, having some nighttime tea, I don't know what you guys do to kind of wind down, but try to bookmark mentally those occurrences throughout the day of maybe you're getting a bunch of heavy things out of your car and somebody comes along and says, hey, can I help you? No, I can do it all myself. And although you're not meaning anything malicious by that, actually quite the opposite. I do feel that there's many people that feel like they don't want to burden other people. I don't want to have that person burdened by having to help me carry my groceries into the house, or with a project. I don't want to have that person burdened by a project that I created solely for myself. And that's where some shadow work is needed. So where is this programming coming in that we need to adamantly refuse the help of others? Like, no, I don't want you to help me. And something that we need to think about is oftentimes people don't ask if they didn't want to. When the person says, can I help you with your groceries, do you think the person's going to be bummed? Like, actually, genuinely, when you think about it through your heart, not through your head, but through your heart, do you think that person is going to be bummed when they asked because they saw somebody who looked like they needed help? People feel good about helping others. Let's put the shoe on the other foot. Let's say you see somebody getting groceries out of their car. Maybe they look like they're struggling. It's hot outside, especially here in Arizona. There's been times where I'm getting stuff out of the vehicle, and it's really hot and I'm kind of struggling, and people stop and they say, hey, can I help you? And if it's just something really light, obviously I don't want to hand something that's like weighs 1 pound, but if it's something I'm actually struggling with, I might say, yeah, sure. But this is really a call to kind of look at, is this a societal programming? Maybe it's a cultural programming. Perhaps it's something from our parents, but what makes us adamantly refuse the help of others? What is this thing that I have to do it myself? It has to be me, or it's just not going to get done. And if somehow in this endeavor I trip up, I fail in my own eyes, that somehow I'm you know, become this awful human being. So this is really a call to take a look at that. That's one possible block that could come up this month. Like I said, there's a lot going on. A lot of it is communication based and also learning to ground ourselves. And part of that communication is communicating when other people genuinely want to give you a hand. And think about how you feel when you want to give somebody else a hand. You feel pretty good, and you wouldn't have asked if you didn't want to. So think about the motives of others. They're not so different from you. In fact, they're a human being too, and they come from the same stuff. They come from source. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, all right. So 3 of Cups. And Syrian said, beautiful deck. The wolves sing to me. Yeah, dude, this deck is freaking awesome. Okay, so now let's take a look into possible opportunity. We have the Child of Swords. We have the little Page of Swords. Oh my gosh, that's like a little Loki. It's like my little panther. Okay, so again, more swords energy. Hello, air signs. Okay, possible opportunity. Okay, so if we can, you know, as you guys got messages for Gemini, for Libra, for, you know, Aquarius, but also the overall messages, if we can try to work on our communication, working on combining what's going on in our head with what's going on in our hearts, and we can find that middle ground, and we can, you know, open up to others and, you know, try to make things as clear as possible and transparent as possible, that there's much more opportunity for new creativity, new ideas. Kind of like I was talking, actually, was it a couple of nights ago with one of the other signs, the elementals signs I was doing. And it kind of puts us in this page position again. And that is a good energy to be in sometimes when you're kind of at the very beginning, where you've welcomed so many new people into your sphere and into your energy, and people that now know and understand what it is that you're trying to do because you've opened up that communication, that now the ideas flow even more because you're getting more input from the world around you. And that puts you into kind of like this, the world is my oyster position, this Page of Swords of like, wow, oh my gosh, I could do this and I can do this. And so I do see this as an opportunity for future projects, future things that you guys can work on because you've widened your sphere through communication. You know, I know that it's great to be the King of Swords or the Queen of Swords, you know, sometimes, but it seems as though, you know, sometimes when you're at the top of your game, people will often take less risks or listen to people less because they feel like they have more to lose, or they feel very rigid in their thinking and their ideas, whereas a page is much more open. They're much more malleable, and I think they can have a lot more fun. And I think that you guys are going to have a lot of fun in July if you can open up the path of communication and connect your logical mind with your heart space. All right, Child of Swords. Roberto says, there is a human being too, something I need to remind myself at times. Yes. Oh, yeah, me too. Okay, so let me put this here and put this deck back over here. And all right, you guys, those of you guys that are in the chat today, I love doing my live viewers polls. So I'm going to ask you guys 2 questions. You guys vote on the question that you want me to pull cards on. And the cards that I'm going to use are the Raven cards. These cards are freaking awesome. They're huge and they're awesome. Okay, so let me just read the 2 questions first, and then I'll tell you how you can vote. Okay, so viewer's choice. Question number 1. How can I tune into my emotions better? And I say this because, you know, we're in Cancer season now. We just had the Cancer new moon. It's all, you know, very watery energy. So, okay, so question 1 is, how can I tune into my emotions better? Question 2 where can I have more balance and reciprocation? So when we give and receive, where in our lives can we work on that giving and receiving energy? Where can we balance it out? Okay, so if you like the first question, go ahead and vote with a red heart emoji for how can I tune into my emotions better. Or if you're at a keyboard and you're not near your cell phone where you can do emojis, just type red heart. Okay. Question number 2, if you like that question, then type green heart or give it a green heart emoji, which is where can I have more balance in reciprocation. Okay, so red heart, where can I tune into my emotions, or how can I tune into my emotions better? Green heart, where can I have more balance in reciprocation? Okay, so I'll do a little Jeopardy music for you guys, and ooh, everybody's throwing up the hearts. Okay, okay. Let me get my cards out here while I do a little Jeopardy. Do 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 do. Boo do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay, so let's take a look at those hearts. So we have Surian with a red heart, Lily with a green heart, Kayla with a red heart, Roberto with a red heart. I know they're so square, aren't they, Surian? They are massive, but I just love the messages so much. Okay, do we have any other voters? So far we have 3 hearts, 3 red hearts to 1 green heart. Do we have any more? I know some people walk away from their phones or computers, while they're listening to chats. I know I do. I like to do things while I'm listening to people chatting. Let me have a little bit of water. Surian's like, meow. Okay, so let's do a countdown just in case there's any more hearts that come in. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay, red hearts. Oh. Okay, red hearts, here we go. So using the Raven cards, these giant square cards, which they're super cool. And they had extra cards where you can write like your own messages on there, which I have. Okay, so the question then for all of the red hearts was, how can I tune into my emotions better? All right, here we go. How can we tune into our emotions better? How can we adopt some of that Cancerian energy? Okay, it looks like we have our card. I'm gonna put this massive deck back in here. Okay, let's see what the Raven has to say. Focus on your target, aim for the center, refine your technique. And that's actually like a slice of a tree trunk. Interesting. I'm gonna have to really meditate on this one. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Thanks, Ravens. Okay. So the message is coming through as kind of what I was talking about last night about our emotions, that when we are babies, we don't have a verbal language yet. We don't have the native tongue of our mother and father yet. So the only way we can communicate what we're feeling or what we're thinking to mom and dad is to cry, is to laugh, is to giggle, is to whine, is to, show emotion, and you're speaking with your emotion. And then once we get older and we do develop language, we can now put language to our emotions. But oftentimes what we do is we push those emotions now out to the side and we just focus on communicating with others verbally. So this is a coming back to actually learning to translate your emotions. I think that sometimes we become very disconnected to our emotions because it's kind of seen as a I think some people see it like Latin, that it's like some sort of dead language, like, oh, well, that's something that little kids do. That's something that babies do. They use language until they become grown-ups like me, and become super advanced, and they have like, then they have verbal language. But actually, emotions, the reason we feel so much is because it's ingrained in us as a human being on this planet, and it's something that our ancestors had before language was present on this planet, like a verbal language. So just kind of throughout your day, you might want to keep an emotions journal, or just, an emotions journal, or you can call it whatever you want. But as you reflect on your day, again, towards the end of the day, maybe just doing a little bit of journaling, having some tea, sitting in bed, whatnot. Reflect on how you felt throughout the day. So you're going to have to kind of mentally go through all of your interactions. Where did you go today? But also start recognizing, how did you feel? And the more you do this, let's say when you're just kind of rehashing the end of your day, it'll force you to be that more present and cognizant throughout the day when emotions do come up, emotions of sadness, of joy, of reflection, of curiosity. We have this gamut of emotions. Like we have so many varied emotions. It's one of the most complex languages that we have, yet we look at it as if it's a dead language, like it's not beneficial or useful to us. So when the raven is talking about, find your target, take aim, the target is our emotions. And so as they come up, really try to ground yourself and listen to it. When I feel joyful, where is the joy coming from? And the reason I say that, not to just focus solely on the negative emotions, is because sometimes when you might ask somebody, hey, what truly makes you happy? Some people have to like think about it. They're like, I don't know, like ice cream. And it's just that, sometimes we think, oh, well, it's a joyful emotion, I don't need to pay attention to it because I'm happy, but it's like, why? Where in what just occurred made you feel joyful? And so it's kind of building that relationship, creating a verbal language to match that feeling. So in order to become connected to your emotions better, it's just being more present with the emotions as they come up, making sure that you're, journaling about them, or at least reflecting about them. What came up for you, and through there you can kind of walk it backwards and kind of see like, oh, this was kind of touching upon this activity, or perhaps it's even touching on a trauma or something like that. But it just gives us a better understanding, so that we're not just walking around so disconnected and just emotional all willy-nilly, and not really understanding what those emotions are trying to tell us. Better to have a grasp of everything that's going on with the human self. We're so curious on what's going outside of ourselves. We even go to the moon and explore outer space, but there's so much to learn within here. We're literally a galaxy inside here. There's quite literally a bazillion things to learn about the human experience, which is why I think many of us decide to come to Earth. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to take in, and it's quite unique. All right. Okay. Suri's like, wow. All right. So nice message from our Raven friends. All right. So we have come to the point of our live chat where I am going to bust out my tongue drum, and we're going to do a bit of healings. This is what I said earlier about just having that time to ourselves to just relax, ground, as we found here at the very beginning as being our theme for July, and just have some time to yourself. That the outside world can wait. It'll still all be there when you're done in the next 5 minutes or so. And this is also a time to focus on your intentions. Oh, thank you, Serene. So, think about all the messages that you heard here today. Which of them actually resonated with you? What are you thinking about now for July? What do you want to bring in? And if you're bringing stuff in, then what do you want to release? And so I'll guide you guys. I'll take you through a guided meditation. All you guys have to do is just chillax and listen. Okay, got my drumsticks. Okay, so first of all, get nice and comfy. For me, I'm sitting on the floor on a nice little towel, so I'm fine. If somebody else wants to, sit in a chair, maybe in a cushy couch, maybe you want to lay down on the bed. All I ask is that you keep your spine as straight as you can. So, but relax. So you don't need to be rigid or anything. It's just, if you're laying down, just make sure that you're not all crooked and all twisted up on the bed, but just, lay down and just straighten out the spine a little bit. If you're sitting, you can be nice and relaxed. Just make sure your spine is nice and straight. And the reason I say that is, as the energy flows through, I kind of look at the spine as like your tree of life, and all that energy kind of flowing down through your core. And so that'll make more sense as I walk you through the meditation. Sarian said, yes, please, and thank you. All right, all right. Okay, so get nice and relaxed. Start bringing your awareness inside your body. Go ahead and relax the shoulders, drop them away from the ears. Go ahead and let your neck become malleable, relaxing the upper arms, the forearms, our hands, and our fingers. Relaxing that core, our hips, which do so much all day, our legs, calves, just relaxing the muscles in our feet and our toes. And just bring your awareness to your breath. And just notice, are you breathing deeply? Is it shallow? Where do you feel your breath? Is it caught up in your throat? Is it in your chest? In your solar plexus? In your tummy? Where do you feel that breath? And as you take this moment just to focus solely on the breath, I'm going to help ground us. So go ahead and start imagining that you have roots, and they are growing from your posterior, your legs, your feet, just like a little plant. And in essence, you are a plant upon the earth. And you're going to allow those roots just to dig past your floorboards, past the concrete slab, down into that nutrient-rich soil below. And your roots are twisting and turning and weaving, and they're met by all these other root systems on this planet, both energetic and physical. The root systems of trees and plants and flowers, but also the energetic roots of crystals, of animals, our fellow human. So many root systems. It's like a roadmap of Rome. So many veins, so many roots. And you notice as your roots become tangled in with everyone else, that we're all so connected, it's hard to see where one begins and one ends. And those roots continue to dive deeper along with all those other roots, and they dive towards the core of Mama Gaia. And those roots wrap around her core, and you hold tight, and you feel grounded, you feel safe, you feel protected. And now that we're anchored in, we're going to bring our awareness back to our breath. And I'm going to ask that you take a nice, full and complete breath. That's inhaling into the lungs, into the diaphragm, into the stomach. 1, 2, 3, let's go. And exhale. Full exhale, belly button to the spine. And as you inhale again, I want you inhaling from your roots. Inhale that Gaian energy, inhale that earthly energy, that power, that koyopa, which is life force in Mayan. That lightning bolt energy. Breathe it all in, let it fill every cell, every organ, every appendage, everything about you, and exhale. And as you continue to breathe in and out, breathing in this earthly energy, this Gaian energy, which you are, I want you also to think about the reciprocation that takes place in your breath. That when you breathe in life. That other energies on this planet, the breath that they release is your oxygen, and you breathe that in. And let it fill you, and have gratitude for those that are able to give you that life. And as you exhale, think also about all of the energies on this planet that thrive off of your exhalations. They need what the human exhales. So continue to breathe in this earthly energy up through your roots, up through your body, while focusing on this cycle of death and rebirth, all within the breath. Breathing in life, exhaling death, which will be transmuted to life back to you once again. And as you continue inhaling and exhaling, I want you to bring that Gaian energy up past your highest chakras, up into source. Ignite source with that Gaian energy and allow that source energy to dwindle down, 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 down through your higher chakras, down through your body, through every organ, every cell, every appendage, everything, filling you and moving down your roots down into Gaia. And now you are a beautiful being that is able to transmit from both worlds, as above, so below. Dualistically, you are Gaian and you are an eternal spirit, all in one body. And just feel the gratitude that comes with that, that you have this ability in this life to dance with the below and the above. You are neither just one, you are both. And allow them to fill your being. You can sit with that a moment as you continue your full inhales and full exhales. And now, let's bring our awareness to our intentions. Think about those messages that you heard earlier. Which of them do you feel called to? Which do you want to bring in for July? And on your next inhale, let's fill our body with that. 1, 2, 3, inhale. And exhale. And as you do, think about what you're releasing. Give it away. Give it away. Because there's something out there that is going to need that exhale, and they're going to transmute what doesn't serve you anymore into something beautiful and beneficial for them. Okay, so continue this intentional inhale and exhale. What are you bringing in? What are you releasing? And as you do so, I'll play a little bit of music. All right, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that little meditation, just for you, chillaxing. Sarian said, so pretty. I love busting out the tongue drum. I just let spirit take me. I say, hey, use my sticks and let's play some music. You're very welcome. So yeah, I'm glad that you guys find this beneficial. I love, setting aside this little time for us. And I thank you guys all for coming and hanging out with me today. But yeah, let's go ahead and close up that circle. So my candle's actually almost all the way out. So let's go ahead and make a wish for July. I don't know if anybody's having some birthdays in July, but let's go ahead and make a wish anyway. So what do you wish for July? Ready? 1, 2, 3. And so it is. Yay! All right, let's close up that circle. Woo-hoo-hoo. Lily, you are very welcome. Okay, so I have my beautiful Colombian Amber. Kayla, you're very welcome. And let's close up the circle. All right. Thanking our elementals of the north who helped us with our circle today. Thanking the elementals of the west who helped us with our circle today. Thanking the elementals of the south who helped us with our circle today. And thanking the elementals of the east who helped us with our circle today. The circle is dispersed, but it still remains. As above, so below, as within, so without. Merry meet, merry part. Merry we do, we meet again. And so it is. All right. So thank you everybody who hung out. Thank you for everybody who was in the chat, everybody who was commenting. And hey, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do consider subscribing. If you enjoyed today's live chat, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it, tell your friends, so we can all hang out and have lots of fun. And by the way, I'll see you guys on Sunday for our weekly live chat that we do. I already posted on my YouTube channel the 4 questions. So vote for one of those 4 questions, for the viewer's choice for our YouTube poll. My YouTube members and my Patreon folks get to vote twice because they get to vote on Patreon or the YouTube membership, and they get to vote on the public poll. So they get a couple of votes. So anyway, yeah, you guys go ahead and take a look at that. Sarian says, take care, everyone. Lily, you take care as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. If you haven't had dinner yet, I wish you well. Have a lovely dinner. I've already eaten. I had a little salad and some toast and a popsicle because it's hot. So, but anyway, thank you. And I do want to give a little shout out to my YouTube members. So thank you, Susie and Liesel and Heather and Kayla. Thank you. Also for my patrons, Michelle, Surian, Brandy, V, Samara, Kirsten, Jason, Charles, Brian, and Kayla. Thank you so much. I really truly do appreciate it. This is what I do, and I really feel good about it. I love having this space where we can all come together and hang out, have fun, listen to some good messages, and hang out with one another. Good folks. All right, like I said, have a good evening. Have a good July 1st tomorrow, and the newsletter comes out, so if you're signed up with the newsletter, expect that tomorrow morning. All right, catch you guys later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye guys.